Predator Helios 3D15 Spatial Labs Edition.
The 13th gen Intel Core i9 HX processor, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 GPU, and our custom-engineered Aeroblade cooling, alongside liquid metal over the CPU.
Delivering intuitive interaction and immersive sensation through technologies like advanced sensory solutions, optical display, and the latest real-time rendering technologies.
With the Helios Neo 16. 13th gen Intel Core processor? Check. GeForce RTX 40 series graphics? Of course. As for cooling, the Helios Neo includes Predator's custom-engineered cooling solutions listed here, with our unique Aeroblade fans and liquid metal thermal grease. Predator Triton 17X laptop. This powerhouse features a GeForce RTX 4090 with a max TGP of 175 watts. The Acer Nitro XC452 CUV at 44.5 inches with a 32:9 ultra-wide aspect ratio and 1500R curvature. Predator Orion X. The Intel Core i9 13900KS Special Edition processor boasts 24 cores, a flagship NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090. It is the smallest PC that features this GPU. Upgrade your gaming experience with the Predator Orion X.
Hello Philippines and hello world. Welcome to the second leg of the Predator Kings of PH 2024. My name is Ramon. With me is Josuave. We have been casting all day yesterday for all the action for all the viewers out there, and I'm sure that we have a banger of best of ones right here, right now. How are you, Josuave? I love that you put your hair down just to show the blue highlights of your hair.
I mean, you gotta admit it. It's slightly colder today than it was yesterday, and I mean, that on top of that, we had a really spicy last map yesterday between NCG and No Org. So things got real interesting yesterday, and you know, today I think our matches are probably gonna be quite a bit spicier.
Yeah, and of course, you know, everything has been in due process. So We gotta give a special shout out over to the Games and Amusement Board for allowing Predator Gaming to authorize and officiate the Kings of PH 2024 as an official tournament registered under the approval of the Games and Amusement Board in the Philippines. So, without further ado, it's been one heck of a day yesterday. That first day, we had everything that we needed. Fast games, an ace, as well as a long overtime shot from that sunset game. But before anything else, of course, I'd like to lay out the basics for all the viewers out there to find out how Kings of PH is getting run for today's year. Why don't we show this video for a little bit of a tournament explainer? That's right, Predator Warriors. It's one whole month of non-stop Valorant action right here on the Kings of PH. Well, just a little bit of a refresher. It's going to be 4 qualifiers, and all throughout, it's multiple chances just to get to the main stage as a whole, just Suave.
And of course, I mean, we need to also highlight the fact that you have multiple chances, right? Because yesterday we had quite a lot of these teams that showed up, right? We saw No Org really pop up. I wouldn't be surprised if they come back in one of the next few qualifiers. You get 4 tries, right? But it's such a punishing format because of the fact that, of course, number one, if you don't make it in day 1, you try again. Then if you end up on the broadcasted match, good sir, and the problem there is you're going to be showing a little bit more VOD, a little bit more tape, and some of your strats might be red.
Yeah, so it's all a matter of what kind of big strat that you want to pull out and when you want to pull it out, right? Because even though you got those multiple chances, if you are down to your last lifeline, then you're thinking about whether or not you're going to use one of your best strats very early on in the tournament. So very interesting. Now that we talked about it, but what are we all playing for? Because it's not just the fact that you're able to play for one of the main events of the Predator esports scene, right? But you also get a massive 100,000 prize pool. A guaranteed spot in the Predator League Philippine qualifiers is also up for grabs. So now is the moment to show the world what you are made of in the Predator League scene. So right here, this tournament is some sort of an appetizer, I would say, that kind of tastes like a main course if you think about it, because we are playing for all the bragging rights here, not just the bragging rights, one of the biggest prize pool that we've seen in Predator history.
Yeah, that's a hefty 100,000 peso prize pool, as we've said time and time again. But at this moment, right, we've already gone through 2 days of qualifiers, and we do have 2 more. So in case you guys haven't been able to register just yet, well, the steps, of course, number 1 would be to complete the Google form that you can find on the Predator Gaming page. Once you get there, look for your email confirmation. From there, you can get inside the official Discord server for Predator XP. And of course, once you get inside, just follow the instructions and you're going to be good to go. And maybe we'll see you here on broadcast.
Yeah. And the best thing about the Predator XP Discord as well is that you can also invite a lot of people or fellow players from the Predator XP community to play with you if you're down to actually play some Valorant, or somehow maybe we can have some watch parties, watch some VCT Pacific, watch some VCT action, or maybe, just maybe, some of our local Predator games if we have a tournament online. So we'll see you over at Predator XP Discord, but for now, why don't we focus on what's on the line right here. So the tournament is kicking off at the qualifiers. As you mentioned, this is one of the 4 qualifiers that we've had. This is day number 2, meaning that whoever has lost today in this qualifier has 2 more chances if they are eliminated early on. And this speaks to everybody from the bracket. So many teams have been eliminated. We started off with NAS Esports early on, very early elimination for them, as well as Oasis Gaming and Zola. As we look at the top 8, it is AIM-PH and Astraeus locking horns very early on before the semifinals, where AIM-PH came out on top, and they'll be facing up against Nursing Peak after they took down Vim Esports.
Also, on top of that, we had Snaps and Steel Esports, who have a pretty stacked roster, if I'm not mistaken, actually winning it out up against Snaps. And of course, No Org making a return from their defeat yesterday, make their way all the way back into the semifinals for today up against Imperial Titans Pacific, wherein now they're going to be locking horns with Steel Esports. And you know what, Ramon? I wouldn't be surprised if Steel Esports does beat out No Org, because I mean the way that these teams are built at the moment, right? All 4 rosters that we're going to be witnessing on screen today, they're all extremely stacked.
Yeah, and extremely experienced in their own right as well, right? Because let's not forget, they're not only here registered for this tournament alone, they're also very experienced in a lot of LAN tournaments right now. So we're going to be expecting Bestial Esports to play on their top form, as well as No Org for their redemption arc. But for now, this best of 1 is for all the marbles. This is where we have to focus all our eyes on, because it is AIM-PH versus Nursing Peak. And both of these teams are no slouches as a whole, because AIM-PH, we already know them and their form back in VCLPH Split 1, where they have made their mark and have toppled a lot of their competition and have shown that they can be one of the top contenders in the Philippines right now, while they're also up against Nursing Peak, who, although they are an unknown organization or unknown team as a whole, I wouldn't say their players are any slouches either.
Oh no, man, for sure. I think Nursing Peak, this roster, we're not going to spoil you guys just yet, but of course, they don't really have an org at the moment. But this core of players, they have had some international experience. Some of them have some local experience as well. But, you know, I also want to shed a little bit of light on the fact that AIM-PH are actually representing the south of the Philippines here. Most of them in Cebu or in Mindanao, which is pretty beautiful when you think about it. You know, you have it all across the nation, right? North all the way to the south, fighting it out for victory here in Kings of PH 2024.
Yeah, and if representation is saying much, then not only are they playing for their own bragging rights, their own name on top of the leaderboards, but they're also putting the region on the map, right? Because Mindanao and, well, the Cebu as a whole, they're also represented in a bunch of very important landmarks, or at least milestones in the Philippine esports scene, right? Because if you remember, the last time, or the very first time that a VCT champion has been crowned, it was a Cebuano team, a full Cebuano team named 6045 Pirates. They played in one singular computer shop just to attain their first championship in the Philippines. Well, now everybody else wants to do it as well right after that win. So if they're going to be able to get this win, it will be a huge statement for everybody in the bracket. And that is also a good way to say that AIM-PH is here to stay and here to play.
I mean, they've been a constant force here in the local scene in the Philippines. So I wouldn't be surprised that AIM-PH are all in Mindanao, right? Despite falling a little early in yesterday's bracket, they've made their way all the way to the semifinals for today. So it's going to be a real exciting today once we get into the lobby, as we do wait for some of these cameras to come back up, actually.
I know, right? Maybe they're AFK getting their water, or possibly polishing their mouse as we speak, you know, going to the bathroom, get the toothbrush just to find those scrappy parts of your mouse. You know that, right? Like you and I play a lot of Valorant. Sometimes our peripherals need to be maintained 100%.
They need to be taken care of, man. I mean, how much do you spend on peripherals? And you know, peripherals are your best friend, right? Your high-speed keyboard and your hyper polling mouse with an 8K polling rate, right? You need to make sure that those are working and in good condition. But of course, this map for today is gonna be on Lotus, one of our favorite maps, right? Which is the little sister of Haven, who unfortunately is not in the map rotation right now.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta miss it though. It's been so long since I've watched like a Haven game, played a Haven game, unless I go into a custom map, which at this point that only is for nostalgic value. But Lotus, I'd say it's very interesting for teams to pick up this map as one of the first maps that they want to play on broadcast, simply because it's not very simple to play. You usually want to either take control of that rebel position as the defending side, or you want to give it up just so that you have a stronger retake later into the rounds. That's for the A side. But for the C side, usually you'd rather play for that mount control just so that they don't have the orb, they don't have control over the space over to the B side because of the door. A lot of ways that you can approach this Lotus map entirely. So it will be on the attacking side, I believe, of Nursing Peak, to see what time of tempo we're going to be seeing on Lotus, because you can play both fast and aggressively, or you could actually play the slow game and make sure you can punish the mistakes of any aggressive attackers.
And the most interesting part about Lotus, of course, is the sheer size of this map, right? You know that there's so many small corners, small crevices in which you can hide, right? If you're playing as a Cypher, those insane traps. The Killjoy, of course, also one of the more important picks here in this map. And I'm probably going to be expecting maybe a raid as we do wait for the Agent Select, right? But you know that the Showstopper, the Paint Shells also are very important pieces of util to be able to take map control, if not totally eliminate an enemy who's sitting in that corner. So you really need to pay attention to how you're taking map control here, because there's still these small hidden corners, like the box over on A, that if not checked, they could turn into your entire team just blowing up in a matter of seconds.
Sometimes, like, the best cover, or sometimes the weirdest ways to actually win a match is not by the most obvious reasons too. Sometimes some teams will actually abuse that B space push as well. So as we head on into the Agent Select, we're expecting a bunch of spicy picks. It is a mirror composition for both AIM-PH and Nursing Peak. They're both picking up the double controller comp. Despite Viper being nerfed, a lot of teams are still willing to pick that up because no other controller can use the amount of pressure that Viper can deal with her utility compared to any other. Harbor can't do that. Omen, yes, you still have that paranoia, but Viper, it's kind of easier to kind of deal that amount of pressure because of your util.
Yeah, and I feel like the death of Viper has been greatly exaggerated at this point, right? We have been playing quite a few games over the last few days, and the small buff to the damage of a snake bite from Viper actually does so much more damage compared to what people would have expected over the last few years. But now, because of that, you don't really need to worry about playing too much time or firing your molly a little too early, because that small spike in damage that comes back from your snake bite actually is prolonged, and it does enough damage to even kill an enemy without the smokes.
I know, right? So even though it's nerfed up to one molly, the biggest nerf I would see is the poison orb, because it cannot be picked up again. Usually it'd be used for repositioning. Sometimes it'd be used for post-plant lineups. Well, that's something that both these teams are going to have to look out for. So we head on into the game. This Lotus map is looking as spicy as ever. We are looking at the highest rated team comps for this map as a whole. Double controller, an active Omen expected out of both Yon Peak and Astro. And one of these Omens, well, he's already known for playing a very proactive Omen. And I'm looking at Astro and how he can set up the fact that Nursing Peak actually have the attacking side, which I believe is the strongest side of Lotus.
Yeah, I think, of course, I do agree that the Lotus is a very attack-sided map, wherein you do see quite a lot of people making a run on the attack side. But, if you're not able to stack up as many rounds as you want at the first half of the game, then you can easily expect that your opponents are going to be able to catch up to you real quick. But, of course, we're going to be starting it off here. Magix finding a little bit more value outside of C. Be taking down my Astro nice and early.
Yeah, and the Viper being taken back early on means that it's going to be harder to hold that C. The only thing that can be held is using that gadgets, but Itchy solo expected, knowing that AIM-PH are looking to try to get that flank on down. 2 versus 5. The defending side is looking exposed as ever. Jeremiah has to back away, giving the site for free up to Nursing Peak right now.
Remaining.
And now it's all going to be down to the last one. Sevi stuck in a corner now, being hunted down by the rest of the enemy team. He takes one down, but they know exactly where he is. Wallbang's not connected just yet. And the knife to seal the pistol round. Ramon, things are getting spicy nice and early today.
My God, I like the way that they're proactively playing around that T position. They're not aggressively taking the space early on, because by the time that they were actually holding down that C position, Ichi Solo was just aware. He has realized that AIM-PH had no map coverage over that A rubble. So why don't they just rush on, try to see if they can flank? They did, but they got punished for it early 2 versus 5 because of that. And AIM-PH, they have to be worried about the next move.
But I also like that we do have Uyen playing this usual Viper wall, which is you use it as a sign of the default, and because it's being used every round, you're not exactly sure if is this going to be a full A commit. Because of that, that early conditioning that this wall has been responsible for over the last few weeks, or even in the VCT Pacific, meta, right? You can actually see right now AIM-PH, they do not want to touch A. They're all the way in C, and they feel like it might be a double down in that direction.
Yeah, so just thinking twice about where they want to rotate. So even though they're huddled up over that C position, they have to be aware about what type of space they're giving up. You can see stairs open, nobody holding that A position. It's an easy plant if they're able to realize it. That's why they're backing away for now. No mount control whatsoever from the defense. And even though they got the crossfire, the trap play set up, it doesn't really do much of anything because nobody's pushing that way. They're all crawling up to A, and you can see the pings. They're decisively taking that map space, and without any sort of pressure, they're just gonna take it for free
30
at
seconds
all.
left.
This misread is insane, actually, when you think about it. At the moment, it's completely empty. There's some smokes already going up because of the fact that, of course, door has started spinning.
Poison's off.
This moment, I think AIM, the best thing they can do for this round, all of them die to the spike. Make sure no extra ult orbs are provided here for Nursing Peak, because otherwise, man, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And they're going to be building up the ult economy, which we've seen that if this 5-man squad finally have the ult cycle nice and active, then things are going to be really difficult for them. But a couple of kills now going in the hands of AIM-PH through to their name. Johnny Boy stuck in the back of sights. It's gonna be a 3v4. Now they're getting ran down by AIM. One by one they fall, and it's almost looking like they're about to get ecoed. As for the last person standing, trying to stop the spike from getting defused, but Magix cleans it up. A thrifty round coming in from AIM-PH. All in Mindanao is nice and ready.
No freaking way. They punch back with having the retake be set up on different sides of that A site push. It started with the triple flank over around that rubble position, overwhelming Ichi Solo. So they had no flank watch whatsoever. Plus, they're able to destroy the door early on, and they were aware of that. But they positioned themselves on an aggressive attempt at taking those fights, knowing that they got the better guns, but they got overwhelmed by the numbers. This is not what you're looking for when you are on Nursing Peak at all.
It's the worst possible position, right? Because now things have turned around. Nursing Peak are completely broke at this point, wherein they should technically have the advantage if they had won that game. But because this is AIM-PH they're up against, right? None of these players on AIM-PH are any slouches when it comes to the aim duels. And unfortunately for them, right, the fact that they were all playing on the Sheriffs, you technically don't want to play the close angles, because otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Now it might go the other way. Never mind. Quick trade coming in from Yon Peak, as now you can see them slowly posturing up towards C, which is unfortunately for them, actually. Jeremiah standing here with a full KJ setup.
Yeah, and he has to be the only beacon of defense over at that seaside position, because he's not playing with any sort of info. You can also see that there's not even a turret placed on C. There's not an alarm bot, any sort of info. Only the sound is given, and they're pushing in. Patrick Watson alone over at that 10th position. Jeremiah peeks in. They're also low, so they just push into the meat grinder, into the 1 versus 4. Astro, 9 HP, but he's already down to none. Another for AIM-PH, slowly creeping back up after that first pistol loss.
And Ramon, the problem here is having lost what should have been their bonus round at that point is now turning into a full economy avalanche that's going in the direction of AIM-PH. Because right now, even with this full buy, they don't even have full shields on all of them as a team. And the problem is, at least from what I can see, they're starting to get readable because of the fact that AIM-PH I don't know what has given it away, but full combo now being brought out over towards A site. This should discourage any kind of aggression coming in from Nursing Peak, but Patrick does find magics, and that should be a signal for Nursing Peak to slowly make their way over into C site. But there goes Jeremiah stuck inside, takes down Patrick Watson. He hears the teleport, takes down one. Astro here now for the trade, but the damage has been done, and Nasty is here with the perfect timing. All the utility being thrown out towards Astro, blinded out of his mind. Now going to get down to a 2v1 because now Uyen all alone with a spike in no man's land right now. Very little utility to follow up with, and no, the spray transfer unfortunately does not connect. APH remain on top.
That's unfortunate because that's the second time that Magix has been punished while trying to jump peaks, get some early info on C before he can decide on whether he wants to take the passive position on C or just play for that mount position. Second time in a row, which again becomes a bad thing for their defense because you wouldn't want to give numbers early on this Lotus map. This map is too big for you to be able to give that open space up. That mount position, even though it is still hold up by Jeremiah, who does a really good job of actually claiming kills. But again, this is the fourth position. Nade on top as well. NPH are looking to fly back, but Uyen, nice shot again from the Sheriff. NPH looking to capitalize on this with the 1-for-1. No Vipers, so no usage of the Viper spit. They can also try to hold this Rebel position, but Yonki, quick for the trade, gets another. Channy Boy down to count, another for APH. It's 4 versus 4 for stop, but Ichi Solo starts back. A double from the Sheriff, and leaving it all to this Killjoy 1 versus 2.
It's going to be real messy real quick though. Look at this. Ichi Solo having the last laugh would be insanely good at this moment, because if you notice the fact that despite the fact rather that they were all sheriffs, it was a full eco for Nursing Peak. They were able to take down 3 players of the enemy team, and now with Ichi Solo having upgraded the rifle, there would have been hope, but Jeremiah is just too quick on the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, very smooth, very nice timing as well from how he peaked on, but a very well coordinated push shot for AMPH because again, one of the win conditions for this Lotus map as a whole is that rubble position, and you had 2 choices, either to dodge away from those utility, which they did, but now comes into question, will you fight back after they use their utility? Because they already had mount control entirely. They fought back, and what did they expect from that? The push out again over towards that rope position was not the best place for them to start with.
Another combo. Early control coming in with Patrick Watson and all the utility being thrown out actually. Now Rebel fully covered by Nursing Peak. Patrick Watson bringing out the showstopper, looking for Jeremiah. Finally, the mission! Oh, the road comes at the worst possible time because now Jeremiah is able to punish their hubris. It's gonna be down to a 4v3, and now Seeds. All the utility coming in from Sevi here. The Seekers, the Prowler rather, being taken out as well because of the Nightfall. They have 0 kind of information, no audio, no visual at this point. Usage of the lockdown being brought out here, and it's now gonna be down to Astro now in a 1v3, hiding for his life in the back of site as they throw out all the utility, and they have an idea. All of the corners checked, and Sevi doesn't even need an upgraded gun. Brings out the free gun here with a classic 5-1 for AMPH.
Yeah, and no rubble control after the post plant as well. So they were all funneled on one side of the map, meaning that even though Sebi was a little bit closeted inside that drop position, the fact that they still had heaven control despite the spike being planted down meant that they just needed to hold their ground, win their aim duels, but they weren't able to do so. The lockdown in place as well on top just meant that they had almost no chance of either heading or holding that site after the post pad at all. Timeout called as well from Astro, just so that they have themselves a reset. I feel like they're getting overwhelmed from how they're being retaken from all sides of the map, right? You can see that sometimes they're not able to hold the flank. They're not able to hold like the key positions that AMPH are abusing every single time.
The problem here, I think, the most obvious problem is the fact that this default, it doesn't really work up against AMPH, right? You'd usually see at least for AIM, you're seeing what the experience of being a challengers team is. They take the space using the utility as a team, then insert one person in, rotate over towards other parts of the map, and do the same. Right? This is usually what you would expect out of an attacking squad here on Lotus, but right now for Nursing Peak, they're not exactly doing it. And this is the traditional Ascent default, right? You go with a 2-1-2, a 3-1-2, 3-1-1, right? And hope that people win their aim duels. But when you're in organized play like this, especially on Kings of PH, man, you need to bring out the more advanced defaults here. And the problem is Nasty. Look at this. 3 people walking towards him. He has the op, primed and ready for the damage. It's gonna be disgusting. Misses the shot, but he does get Patrick Watson a little bit of damage here. Taken and the pain shells as Sevi takes down one. Magic for that follow-up. Look at his trap play. It's insane. Immaculate coming in from APH, throwing everything to the wall in Astro. Last man standing stuck in a corner, desperately trying to cling on for dear life. This eliminated by APH in a matter of seconds.
After the timeout too, and that's not gonna be what you want to happen, right? That's a really nice trap play that a lot of pro teams have been utilizing. Just a lot of early pressure down from that rebel position, and then you couple that with Mound being an indomitable fortress that you seemingly have put up for yourself. The one way that doesn't really work as a one way anymore, but the fact that they're pushing outside of that smoke relied upon that they win those gunfights, but they never did. Nasty again, operator, ace site in towards the ace site yet again. Uyen trying to be the first contact, but I like this wall, right? Always pushing him in position without the info gathered. Nasty, second shot does not connect. He's holding for that omen smoke, knowing that he could have TP'd up upon that rubble position.
Yeah, it's way too quiet once again. And the problem is, as they try and play this round out, you can see that Nursing Peak is slowly running out of map control. They have 0 presence over towards C. So because of that, they're able to bolster. AIM-PH is able to bolster their defense over on A and on B. They have the Killjoy utility to get information on both sides of the map that are unoccupied. And because of that, they're able to try and wait for the right time. But Ichi Solo, perfect and lucky, right through the smoke, takes down one with Quinn on a follow-up. Watson taking out that space. But now it's going to be a 4v2. Might be a little messy here.
And the usage of the from the shadows all the way from rubble, so it's almost like a long lurk, but he's already very close to the wall, and I don't know if they heard this all the way from that door position. A very early 2 versus 4 in hand for the retake early on. Jeremiah as for the first push, but Channy Boy is already tucked into the corner. Yon Peak so low, but that smoke is doing a good job of covering his position. Jeremiah spotted, noted. Now they know his position. Channy Boy makes his presence and gets the 2K for his troubles. An easy push shot for the side of Nursing Peak. And they now claim themselves that second round win, something that they have been working towards because of an aggressive AIM-PH.
And all of this time, right? I also love the way that they were so willing to play this crossfire. You saw there was not that kind of patience over the last few rounds. But as soon as they got the site, you had so much control over in tree and only Channy Boy standing over towards stairs. With that being said, the lack of information all throughout the map, and because of the presence of Sevi coming in through the door, it basically gave away their situation, their positioning at this point. But now it's going to be another approach over towards C. No info gathered with the usage of the haunt, but because of that has alerted the presence of AIM-PH. Uyen able to find Yon Peak here as they're going to look to overwhelm B site and C at the same time. That way AIM-PH doesn't really know where it's coming from. But you look at this. The Rays, Nasty, all the way in the back is waiting for them to rotate away. So this is going to be a long play to try and dissuade any kind of confrontation coming in from Nursing Peak. Because now Magix is taken down too. Channy Boy and Patrick Watson have fallen. And they're running for the hills. But Nasty has arms wide open. It's going to be another 1v2, Ramon.
And he picked the right site to use that from the shadows yet again. So the plan of the spike is going to be confirmed. But the timing of this lurk out from AMPH has to be perfect. Has to be impeccable. But Astro took the right timing. Spotted Jeremiah knows. Now Astro has to peek, has to fight. But Jeremiah wins out that 2v1. My goodness, AMPH, it all started with Nasty, that flank all the way from that rebel position. He was cautious. He was trying to be prepared because he knew that since the Killjoy was still alive and well, that he could not push in time, but he did at the most impeccable timing whatsoever. While they pushed on B main, while they had their backs turned, dagger in hand, Nasty did an amazing 2K. And even though Astro had a nice choice of where he wanted to plant the spike, I mean, come on, man. By that point where he pushed up on stairs, it was just not the best timing to do so.
Yeah, man, as soon as things fell apart, they ran right into Nasty's hands. And again, you can see the mastery of map control that AMPH have over Lotus, which is we would be expecting out of these players. But now it might be a little bit of the same. Uyen has been revealed. Yonpeak spammed out here. I don't think he's willing to show his presence just yet. But with that being said, he does still get spammed through. Good time now for Nursing Peak to try and capitalize on the numbers advantage that they do have. But Viper's Spit has been used up over on C. It's going to discourage any kind of presence from Nursing Peak. And they're going to be kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place as they try to decide where they're going to be going. And now the Nightfall being brought out. No information gained here as Patrick Watson takes up that space. Couple of kills going on each side of this map. And now it's going to be a 3v4, a lockdown. Now being spent by Jeremiah. They have no choice but to push out here. And Uyen tries to spam out through that smoke. Dies to that swarm grenade, but a couple of kills now going in the way of AMPH as now it's going to be down to V1. Itchy Solo and Patrick Watson trying to hunt down the low magics here. Luckily for him, he does have the poison up and he tries to spray down. Patrick Watson, though, will convert.
Almost. By the skin of his teeth, he could have gotten the second headshot, but not enough to adjust with the aim duel. Intel power play coming at you live from Kings of PH. Look at that entry back on that B site. The fact that he didn't split up his utility from the Killjoy meant that it was an easy entry every single time. B site looking wide open after they take the first couple of picks, and well, what do you know? A site push out again for Nursing Peak right now. The only guy that could stop them is only one man to do it all. What can this phase do against 5? Push out again. Sevi has to be careful. Noted, spotted. Everybody known where their position are coming from. Nursing Peak are now aware that A site is their own map control, their own territory. But with the amount of noise that they made, they had to know that AMPH are aware of this, so they have to fight back, possibly in a 5 versus 5 retake.
They haven't fully committed yet, though. It's all going to depend on the timing. They're going to be taking up this ult orb. Their presence should be noted by AMPH, and because it's gone deathly quiet, the entirety of AMPH, I think they have a full idea that Nursing Peak are suddenly discouraged. But I like this. You see that they have actually left Uyen here with a great spot. Insert one person into that space, and because of that, there is possibility for a quick trap play. Now, Magic's also aware of what's going on the other side of the map. People running towards him, standing by with his pants down. I see he's getting taken down by Magic's here, but now they're going to be noted. 4v4 again, trades going both ways. And Uyen, look at this.
The rotation, they rotated all the way outside of A. Uyen is already inside of the A site. They got baited. They thought C site was their call, but they went back to where they originally came from on the A site push. Viper Spit activated. Heaven already fully secured by that Viper. AMPH forced into a 3 versus 4 retake, and they don't have the lockdown. They don't have anything but the showstopper possibly in hand for Nasty, and it has to hit a nasty shot from that showstopper as they're walking in slowly but surely. Yonpeak pushed out. Paranoia, showstopper pushed out again. Paranoia as well from the revolving door as Nasty opens up with a beautiful showstopper. Yonpeak second, a 2 versus 2. Stick on the spike, stick on the spike. Jeremiah wants to push it, and he does. AMPH steal the round away with a quick defuse on the spike.
Last round in the
They've gotten fully blinded out, zero information that the spike was getting defused. You saw that, right? I mean, I wasn't the only man who was watching them. AMPH came up with a quick defuse plan, and I don't think that Nursing Peak were aware that there were 2 people on side of site. And because of that, despite the fact that one of them died, they were still looking towards spawn. I don't know if it was a breakdown in the comms or a misplay from them. But either way, AMPH got away with murder there.
An overcommitment with that spawn ult from Uyen. And although he has been a phenomenal lurker, a phenomenal player, sometimes it's a little crunched up to the numbers. And well, unfortunately for their attacking side, AMPH able to dismantle that defense on the spike itself. Early mount push set up for 4 people on the side of Nursing Peak, looking to actually cleanse their souls, cleanse their sins from the previous round, as they already pushed up. So there's no alarm bot over from the entrance, but if they actually get too aggressively over bend, this is going to be a really good setup for your defense. Look at how many util, how many players already stacked up from AMPH. They're coming towards that, but they're not hesitating. Magix a peek up for AMPH. Nasty follows for a second. Everybody on top and leaving Uyen all alone on the island. Jeremiah has no hesitation anymore. AMPH on top with the 9-3.
Switching sides.
Ramon, I don't know about you, but I think that was a gigantic mistake here coming from Nursing Peak. They walked in, they saw the Viper Orb, and I think they were also aware of the presence of the other player that was up around Waterfall. Having noted that, and the overcommitment of Patrick Watson moving towards the entrance, towards C, actually opened them up to all this, because it basically sliced up the team. And now it was just so much easier for AMPH to hold on to those angles. But at that, I mean, again, Lotus is an attack-sided map. There might still be hope for this Nursing Peak squad, but the way that AMPH are playing, knowing that they got 9 points on that first half, it's gonna be a long road to victory here.
Yeah. And sometimes you could always call this a curse or a blessing, right? But at this point, by the way that they're playing, AMPH are looking stellar as ever.
Oh no.
Shot onto Astro. The controller down again for the side of Nursing Peak is not what they were looking for. Channy Boy does try to get the contact, does so with a 1-for-1. Jeremiah locked away. So their flanks are not going to be watched anymore. Inserting Magix could be a nice insurance policy, but they're pinging it. So they're looking toward that side later on, while they're also locking their eyes and horns over that B side.
Yeah, but now actually, you can see that AMPH are slowly walking their way over towards B, and there might be an overcommitment towards A. This defense from Nursing Peak might be a mistake, because they're committing 2 people over as insurance over towards A, knowing that now as the smokes are going down, should be attracting some rotations from them, Haunt being out as well. But that's gonna go down momentarily. They are kind of in a bad spot, but Magix is gone. That's gonna be the Viper down for this team. Paranoia out from Yonti. Try and take down Patrick Watts, but it's not gonna be enough. Nasty, last man standing in a 1v3. Not gonna be able to convert. And now Nursing Peak finally get this pistol round win.
And just as I was about to point out that he had a beautiful position, Magix just caught off guard with his position back over towards that A main position. He could have caught Patrick Watson with his pants down if he was able to rotate back around that link position, but because he was the one who first peaked, he was the one who gave that 50-50 fight, giving themselves a numbers advantage. And when they were funneling back onto that C-link position, they just went out the classic right clicks. It's an early 94 now, and this is the best start that you're looking for if you are Nursing Peak. Win the pistol, get this buy round, force it into a 95, and go on your merry way as you head on into this bonus. Yeah, but it's a force buy from AMPH now that I'm looking at it.
It's gonna be pretty messy though. I think the idea here is for AMPH to try and cover these close corners as they try and insert people in with the usage of utility, but there's just so much information that can be gathered here by Nursing Peak. They do know. I think they're trying to deny it. You notice that these spam shots, they're coming in from classics. So it should not be expected by Nursing Peak that they do have these guns up. But the problem is, right, you overcommit to this, knowing that they have stingers up. AMPH, the most likely site that they go to would actually be C at this point. But there's just so much patience from this team.
They're really selling the fact that they only have classics, right? Shooting util down, already putting out again their util, trying to see if they can pick off one. Uyen almost dying because of the combo, but doesn't hit the mark. The bullseye not converting, but they are pushing in. Surprise!
Oh my!
What a shot! One entry again from AMPH. This is a beautiful way to confuse your opponents, make them think that you have classics, but when you push in, you sink your teeth deep in.
Now, Paranoia gonna come out from the Omen as Astro's trying to take control of this site. They're gonna fall one by one. It's now gonna be a 2v3 with Patrick Watson in solo. Getting sprayed down now in a 1v2. Magic's last man standing. There's so little space on this site. Trying to find the angle. Sprays down onto Channy Boy, but it's not gonna be enough. They do convert the bonus this time around, but Ramon, there's so much damage done to the economy.
Yeah, you could say that again, but again, if you look at it, that was a force buy, so they're gonna have to concede into the next, meaning that this loss, or at least the loss of 3 guns by the wayside of Nursing Peak, is not gonna be as hard as usual, because sometimes, well, most of the time, a lot of teams would settle on going for that save round after losing that pistol, but it was a force buy for the side of MPH, so they lose that, they give away possibly this next round since they only have the sheriffs online. The entry was impeccable for them because they were able to fool everybody from the defensive side, but by the retake, that is when they got overwhelmed.
Yeah. Now we're reversing it this time. Nursing Peak taking up the early control with Astro on top of Rubble. Because of that, you see MPH posturing over towards B, which unfortunately means that there are 3 people standing here. Pain shells and everything being thrown out of the way. Patrick Watson spraying down 1, 2, and 3. They fall as now MPH are down. They're so low with only sheriffs in their hands. So they depend now their lives on this crossfire as Channy Boy and the rest of Nursing Peak try to avoid certain death here. An attempt at a crunch play. Usage of the door as they wait for the angles. They know that a push is coming out. Last man standing. Young Peak takes down Channy Boy. Asleep at the wheel this man is. And it's gonna be a 2v3. Somehow, AMPH are still alive and there's still so much time on the clock, Ramon.
Fiddled around with timing as well as the over-rotation yet again, so they give the open mount position, but they also have to deal with the killjoy because Itchy Solo has been smelling this rotation. The possibility of everyone from MPH just looking towards that C side. Overcommittal yet again over to B, because look at that. Crossfire is somewhat set up by everyone, and they also put down the fake smoke, so have to be careful about this. Pushing in 1 by 1. Icky Solo has the info, but because of a really good placement of Mamali, that kind of seals the deal for them. But Yon Peak, he's an Omen. He can teleport back in. Jeremiah pushing, since he's so low. It has to be the first contact, but 10 seconds. Plant the spike. Icky Solo still on the back of the site. They planted the spike. MPH, 1v3 given up. And it's all left up to the low player, Yon Peak. He's dead, and Jeremiah is down as well. It's a 9-6, a reverse 6-9, and a very nice score for Nursing Peak as they try to regain their focus.
It's looking good, man. They're taking up all of these guns, 3 out of 5 into this next round. But this being said, though, AMPH, they're finally armed and ready once more. And if there's anything we can say about the gun rounds for AMPH, man, it's it. These are gonna get real scrappy. And I don't think Nursing Peak could be ready for this, because we saw the aggression from AMPH in the first half, and now that they have the guns up, they're not going to be holding back this time around. But we're going to see another Seasonade combo over towards A. But AMPH, it's not going to be a full commit from them. Little bit of wasted utility, but you know, you never know with this kind of map.
Yeah, especially with the early Viper wall, right? Sometimes it can be used for conditioning. Sometimes it can be used to insert yourself. That's the good thing about Viper on this map, right? Insert yourself, even if you don't have your other teammates. You can try to play around another part of the map. Leave the Viper to play for yourselves, right? But Magic has to be careful because Astro has took up a position very high up on that rubble. He's a high man and he's looking to topple all the greats here in the Kings of PH, but it starts with few kills left and right, except Mound has been given. That means door can be opened. That means C can be taken from them. C's nade combo opened up yet again, and Ichi Solo has to be careful. Presence made again for MPH as you're also trying to look for any sort of pushes. No! That is Astro punished on top of that rubble position, taken down from the grave. 5 versus 4 very early on.
Oh, they're actually going to rotate over towards V. After having expected that rotation from Nursing Peak, 2 people posted up over towards CT. But now they're going to be crunching over onto B this time. Magic's his way inside, trying to get that kill, and he does. Channy Boy down in the ground as the rest of the team is posturing for the post plant. It's going to be a 4v3 here. But this crossfire coming in from this team. Showstopper being brought out. Nasty takes down his twin. Now 3v2. They're gonna be down in numbers. Information denied on all sides of this map right now as Uyan falls. Ichisolo, last man with his position revealed. AMPH know exactly what to do. Lie in wait for the right time to strike, because they can taste this round victory, and they're gonna stop the bleeding any second now because the time is ticking little by little. Haunt out and nothing to do for Ichisolo. 10-6 and AMPH back on the scoreboard.
Nursing Peak just utilizing a few areas of the map very proactively. You can see that Astro was not willing to give up that rubble position for free at all, willing to fight against multiple people at once. But again, the number is overwhelming because of these aim duels. The fact that you give up rubble means that you are giving up so much space on the map, not only on main, not only on that revolving door, but you also give up that link control. And breaking that broken door just means that it's easier for you to take somewhere else and cross the map, which is on B, where they're able to overwhelm with the numbers. And again, timeout called again for the side of Nursing Peak. And how many times have we seen these resets head on where timeout's being called, but it doesn't really work out too much? What do you think, man? Do you think the conversion's here?
You know, I certainly hope so. You know, the last time we saw a timeout from Nursing Peak, they were on a pistol round for that time. So it didn't really work out, but maybe this time they're going to be able to convert. We'll see, because the pressure's on here. AMPH, they're 3 points away from making it into the playoffs at this point. And man, there's just so much work to be done. 4 rounds might not seem like a lot, but when you're up against a team like AMPH, that feels like a mile and a half.
I know, right? It's almost like taking a car out for a drive, but then you forget that the car is actually like 10 years old, and then that already has a higher mileage, right?
It sputters out like halfway through your route.
Yeah, exactly, right? Oh, interesting, because they're pushing out a B this time.
No way,
They give
though.
up that C site. The Killjoy is not on C, so they're giving it up that for free. They
There's
don't
no
even
way.
have the Killjoy locked on for this to be justified at all.
This is a disgusting mystery. Look at this. The only thing they have, the only kind of utility they have over on C is this one poison orb, which it's just about to run out.
And
It's about to run out. There's one last person left on this site. Channy Boy should be spotted out. Nasty first one on to the site with a paranoia being brought out. Runs for the hills to try and play with the team as Patrick Watson bringing out the showstopper. Again, not gonna connect. The Rosa ults are everywhere today. And now trades of kills coming in from both teams.
Look, the only thing that they had going for themselves is if they are able to get any kills through that revolving door, they have at least Teddy Boy. Oh my god, wallbang onto Sevi. That's not what you're looking for. You had the 4 versus 4 retake, and now you're fighting with numbers down. Nasty held up by the backside of things, but Patrick Watson, Chatty opening up the site 1v4, but it's Jeremiah lost out of sight. A triple from Chatty Boy, the boy from Pampanga, striking first back into Nursing Peaks' 7th round.
And I don't think people would understand the amount of impact that one wall bang shot through to get that kill. Because at that point, once you get that kill, you know that there's so little utility left for AMPH because everything was used up in the last few seconds to make their way onto the site. And his decision as well to back off as soon as the presence was shown, as soon as you saw the C's nade and you heard the satchels coming on through over towards C, he backed off, tried to get a kill, and played with his team, playing numbers towards the end of that round so that you still had the utility for the retake. And that Nightfall turned into everything up against AMPH.
No, they're investing everything into this now, just Suave. Second time in a row, giving up C just so that this B stack works out. It worked out in the last time, but will this be the second time in a row that they do so yet again with a victory? Possibly.
There's no way,
now.
right?
Rubble control given, revolving door opened up, Magics. There's a rat inside of the A site, but the spike not within their reach just yet. They're seeing if everybody from Nursing Peak are willing to take the fight early on, but looking at their guns, they don't have the best choice but to hold up and pray that Jeremiah gets an early kill.
There's no way, right? Okay. I thought John Peak was about to commit to that position, but now Nasty has been found. Knowing that they're nice and low, Sevi gone with the usage of the nade. Paint Shell's not gonna be the best kind of weapon against these people, but knowing that they are on an eco, Magic takes down Ichisolo. Now an upgrade for this team. 3v4, it's suddenly looking so much more doable. People running out through, and now utility being committed over towards A side. They're gonna be trying to make a run
30
for it.
seconds left.
Smokes up and Spike gonna be going down. Ramon, there's so much delay in this utility. See Jeremiah running over
You
towards
should run.
the back and the lockdown being committed. They have no choice but to try and play for as long as possible. Magix takes down Uyen. Yonpeak here with a long flank, but they've run out of time.
Oh, man.
The lockdown has been denied.
Players.
Magix doesn't connect. Paranoia now gonna be out for Yonpeak as he tries to spray on through, but Channy Boy takes him down. 10 to
There.
8 in the last remaining seconds of that round. You could have seen it. Yonpeak a little bit too slow on that crunch from behind. Turned into an opening for Nursing Peak to take that round. And now it's looking almost like that this comeback could be completed in a couple of rounds.
Yeah, a couple of rounds left for them to equalize. And I also like that you pointed out Yonpeak's flank, because a big risk of flanking around this Lotus map is that it's so far away for you to get into a position to actually gain some impact. So you lose out on the Paranoia, you lose out on a proactive TPing controller that can hold the site back up for you. But because he wasn't the guy who's on the front lines, he is very far away from the action. Early Viper's been invested back on that mount position again, and Uyen is putting all his eggs in one basket. If he is found dead to rights, then this Viper's Pit means nothing. That means C-Site is looking that much closer to take.
Information though found. You can see the Channy Boy is trying to fish for any kind of info over towards B. And now that no one has been found, they know that APH is trying to find any kind of purchase all across this map. But Patrick Watson has been spotted. Gonna be expecting a rotation coming out from Channy Boy. Not gonna be able to check that corner enough because now Magic has been gone. No smokes left for APH here. It's gonna depend all on the timing. It's gonna depend all on the 1v1s because they don't have flashes either. It's gonna be so difficult knowing that they're in a 3v4 and they don't even have a site secured at this point.
I don't even know if
messy,
Channy
Ramon.
Boy- I don't know if Channy Boy has to look towards that hole right now, because he's in a position where he could be the flanker. He could be the guy taking them from the back right now. Already got that forward space hit on, but look at Jeremiah. He's
seconds
taking the
left.
risk, even though he's low on HP. He wants to be the one to have first contact on that heaven position. Spike down again. Channy Boy made his presence as well. Noise heard all across that A site as they're getting ready to push on, and Astro crawling with the smokes down. Tree already noted. And look at the Paranoia. This Paranoia is already locked down on the backside.
Nasty
Opens up. It's solo pushed down at 3v3, and Astro he's
this?
ignoring that key
What
position.
is
So
this?
position from Channy Boy is huge. Jeremiah Nasty does not commit to the fight. 1v2. The Channy Boy alone, 17 for this guy, but he has to fight on both fronts. Nasty peeking, dead right!
Does he have the time?
Bambanga King has locked towards, but does he have enough time? No, he does not.
In a matter of seconds, this set strat coming in from Nursing Peak fell apart, all because of the full force of APH just when you thought it was gone. And now Channy Boy in an attempt in a 1v2. He got so close, but there was just so much delay, Ramon. So much delay from APH that the defuse couldn't even come in with the last few seconds. And now they're one more step towards victory.
One more goddamn step to take that match point again for APH. What an amazing play for Channy Boy, but time became his worst enemy. Time has betrayed him. And now they're looking primed up again. A slow crawl over mound, while they're also holding their defenses around that B position. But if you look at the position again from the APH side, their passive players are taking a risk of holding solo over at B and A. And nothing of value out of this since nobody's pushing, but the fact that they're still here means that they could actually use this presence and push somewhere else while the active players are trying to make presence across the map.
Thank you so much, right? You see the raise, the usual reaction is to try and spot out if there's anyone else behind that utility. Oh, Nasty. Trying to find anything with the use of the C's nade. Yonpeak walking right into the Stingers. Uyen able to take him down here. Because of that, AMPH gonna be down a player. No Paranoia, no flashes coming in for his team, but the showstop is gonna be brought out. Trade of kills with the usage of the Swarm Grenades. Now the rotation's coming in as the duel commences here in mid. Astro takes down Magix, and suddenly there's no space, no time. AMPH has been taken down, thrown through the shredder in a matter of seconds.
Look, I'm telling you right now, this team is just like me. A minor inconvenience and everything falls apart. I'm just saying, the fact that he decided to actually TP on forward from his team over to the C site without that much concrete info of who's inside that smoke meant that he's in a forward position. Nobody can trade him, and he never expected that there could be one or two people holding up that C site. And they also got that insurance policy of trying to push down on B, but they forced the range advantage back onto the other side of things. Nursing Peak back on trying to take that active rubble position. A site on notice again for the defense, but if you look at the crawl, if you look at AMPH, their blueprint is crystal clear. Take that mount position very slowly. Make sure that the utility from the Killjoy is not going to be of the best use, but the Alarmbot's looking crispy until that explosion does something to it.
That's huge, actually. One of the most important bastions of this defense from Nursing Peak is the fact that there's so much Killjoy utility over towards C. It looks like they found out that that seems to be the part. Now Solo able to spray down over onto Nasty as, well, the fact that they only have pistols at this point, it's going to be real hard for AMPH to win this round. Suddenly, now standing at an 11-10, this defending side for Nursing Peak looks a lot better than it was earlier.
Very, very good, right? And looking into the next round, they have to be careful of the tempo that they want to set up now, because they're giving free ult orbs from the previous round, especially in the previous round. Solo has racked up enough to get a lockdown. So if they decide to rush, then they could just use the ult and negate a really good entry away from Nasty. Even if they push out that much utility, then it will be all for naught if the retake is as strong as ever. Again, an early nade combo, but the hit C's doesn't really hit the mark anymore. So they're also fighting for that rubble control, but nevertheless, Patrick Watson, a beautiful shot yet again. They're fighting with everything that they got. With the from the grave, he gets shut down again with the double kill head-on. 2 versus 2 from the shadows. Uyen activated, but they also have the spike not within their grasp. So Peak has to be careful about his push. Smokes off the right direction, but doesn't know where the last 2 players from Nursing Peak are coming from.
It's all gonna depend on the timing here. Peak, with 1 minute on the clock, is gonna be trying to bait out a reaction from the remaining players of Nursing Peak. And he's gonna be right here, sprayed down from Uyen. Nice and clean on the micro adjustment here, and a little bit of spice. Standing at 11-11, it looks like Nursing Peak has made the wish, and they might just walk away with the victory.
This is the one thing that you do not want to happen if you are AMPH, right? Because now you see the coordination being on display with that rubble control, with everybody peeking on the same direction, with Peak, yes, standing on top of that. You whittled down the numbers and you brought it up to the 11-11. Make a wish, Josh, because I feel like we've been at this for the longest time. This Lotus map is looking like a really good start into the qualifying stage, man.
Yeah, AMPH to try and claw for victory here. They're on a patchwork buy. It's not going to be the best, but knowing that there's only one person here over on C, this might be the read of a lifetime. We've seen upsets happen once. We've seen them happen again and again as well. The problem here, though, if they're going to be able to spot out this Killjoy utility, he does still have the lockdown. Now he's going to be spotted, and they know it's going to be a full commitment from AMPH as they slowly walk on through, but trying to keep it nice and quiet. Not going to waste any of that utility as they want to try and weather the storm of the retake once Nursing Peak takes their positions. And again, taking all this time, Spike's finally going to be going down.
It's like they're giving that waterfall position, and that could leave like a good place for that Killjoy lockdown. The problem is, you can see the hesitation. They're waiting for the flank out for Nasty. The Viper Spit though over waterfall. That kind of negates the strength of the Killjoy lockdown. So now they have to commit onto the hot position. Paranoia forced out. So 3 players stacked up, delayed, but Uyen wins out the gunfight in the end. Lockdown destroyed thanks to the beach shell held on by the Rays. Watson pushing. Defender could get locked down in place yet again. 2 kills for the Rays. Entry on. Uyen wins the fight. It's all on Magix, but he cannot perform anything at all. It's Uyen that makes the difference. It's the lead for Nursing Peak for the first time on this Lotus map.
A full comeback run from Nursing Peak here as APH. Their mentals gotta be broken at this point. They are in shambles and they can barely scrape down a buy. And it doesn't even matter at this point, Ramon. If they can't win this round, it's gonna be over. And now, for the first time in this map, Patrick Watson gonna be picking up the operator with the most dangerous weapons on this game. The problem is, man, the problem is they only have a paranoia for a flash.
The only thing that they're counting on, it has to be at the right place. Patrick Watson, first shot operator in the second. This guy is a sniper assassin. You can bet on this guy with the largest weapon on the squad, and he will pay it off in dividends. 3 versus 4. A call up from Magix, but it's gonna take a very long time for everybody else to rotate back with him.
There's no way Patrick Watson checks this angle, right? He's not gonna be expecting this. Has he changed his gun? He has, and he gets the 3rd. Ramon, everything's falling apart right now for AMPH. The timing doesn't even work for Youngpeak either. But Jeremiah does find Astro. 1 person down as they have to try and isolate these gunfights. Be playing as a team right now, AMPH. You know, so much time on the clock, man. So much time. So little map control that they have here. All gonna depend on the timing, and Patrick Watson finds Hamerage. 1 last person standing on APH, standing between Nursing Peak and a full qualifier run as he try and hunt him down. 30 seconds left on the clock in Yon Peak. Everything is found. They know where he is. The information granted by the turret here as they're trying to isolate the fights. Smokes out. He doesn't know where Uyen is, and Patrick Watson caps off this map with an ace. The full comeback. Nursing Peak finally winning it out.
And you can see they're already celebrating on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to Nursing Peak for one heck of a comeback. 3-9 to start off that first half. But once it was done and dusted, we already saw what it could be after the first 3 kills from Patrick Watson. Nursing Peak, it was one heck of an effort. It took so many rounds in a row for you to actually gain yourselves that 12-11. And by the end of it, it's almost like I almost couldn't believe it myself. Because look at how hard they had to conquer this sort of mountain that they needed to climb. They needed 6 consecutive rounds. And even though it was rocky all the way to the middle of it, they got it through in the end.
There's so many flashes of brilliance coming in from both teams. Right, AMPH full control in the earlier defensive side of the map. We know that Lotus should be attacker sided, but somehow both teams here, they popped off on the defense, and AMPH, they got negated time and time again. We've seen so many of these micro plays, this one specifically with Shani Boy, a couple of kills, which could have turned things into a really messy situation for AMPH. And you know, eventually they did. It chipped at the mental little by little, got these tiny highlight plays where you could see AMPH getting punished again and again, punished for their hubris, for their overconfidence as we kept moving on through the snap. And as you see, once they were powered up, once the confidence was brought back, we finally got that win out from them.
You're telling me that Yonti got that collateral just because Nasty, or I believe it was the raise from the other side, fell to the wayside towards where the position was, because he has it was after the showstopper, and then that's where he placed himself. My goodness, that is one disgusting play from Yonti. But all throughout that, right, you already saw like a lot of like good moments for everyone on this side. So if I were AMPH right now, I would brush this performance aside. Although it was a very clear-cut moment that they would have actually gotten this map, it's okay because they have a few more chances anyway into the next qualifiers we go. But for this time, for where we are right now, for the unlikeliest heroes for the side of Nursing Peak, I would like to say congratulations to them for actually going through this qualifier. And because of this win, we'll be seeing them on the next stage of Predator Kings of PH. You know, that's not the only best of one that we're looking out for, because we got another one coming up after this break. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ramon. With me is just Suave. We've had a banger of Lotus map, but we'll have more right after this.
With the Predator Helios 3D15 Spatial Labs Edition.
The 13th gen Intel Core i9-HX processor, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 GPU, and our custom-engineered Aeroblade cooling, alongside liquid metal over the CPU.
Delivering intuitive interaction and immersive sensation through technologies like advanced sensory solutions, optical display, and the latest real-time rendering technologies.
With the Helios Neo 16. 13th gen Intel Core processor? Check. GeForce RTX 40 series graphics? Of course. As for cooling, the Helios Neo includes Predator's custom-engineered cooling solutions listed here, with our unique Aeroblade fans and liquid metal thermal grease. Predator Triton 17X laptop. This powerhouse features a GeForce RTX 4090 with a max TGP of 175 watts. The Acer Nitro XC452 CUV at 44.5 inches with a 32:9 ultra-wide aspect ratio and 1500R curvature. Predator Orion X. The Intel Core i9-13900KS Special Edition processor boasts 24 cores, a flagship NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090. It is the smallest PC that features this GPU. Upgrade your gaming experience with the Predator Orion X.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second day of the Predator Kings of PH. My name is Ramon. With me is Jaswabe. We have been your casters for the whole day, for the whole weekend of Kings of PH. It has been a brutal matchup between AimPH versus Nursing Peak, where the latter, Nursing Peak, have swung their way back into that qualifying stage. Now, we are into our second best of one, and Josh, I am super excited for this.
And things are exciting all around. I mean, right now we have VCT Pacific going on. We have the playoffs happening from May 3 all the way until the 12th. So don't miss out on that excitement. Of course, if you guys want to stay tuned to what's going on in Kings of PH, don't forget to follow us on these channels as well. But right now, we're going to be looking at the comeback of No Org. These guys went through the gutter to get into yesterday's streamed matches. They lost to SR Nakage, and now they're back. It's going to be No Org up against Bestial Esports, who have a pretty interesting record as well. We saw behind the scenes Bestial Esports here has a player named White Cat. If you notice right now, he does have the green cat ears.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that visible right now, but if you actually look at his player cam, he has really nice cat ears.
The RGB cat ears, man.
And it's also lighting up, so it's kind of interesting. His name's White Cat. He's using some kitty headphones, and he's also on Bestial Esports. So I'd say this guy doesn't like cats at all. But we already know what kind of map we're gonna be playing onto, and it's gonna be split. So lots of mid control, a lot of early defaults, especially on those early rounds. And once you got the tempo rolling, that's when all the landslide just comes in beautifully.
Gonna be expecting a couple of agents here. I think definitely the Rays, probably a Viper as well. I think even with the Viper nerfs, there's just something about Viper that's really irreplaceable, right? The wall and the poison orb, despite the fact that neither of them can be picked up at this point, there's just so much stall that can be given by this utility, and the kind of control that you can take over the map, and presence as well, right? You can just play around with the wall up and down. The poison orb, same thing, to try and feign your presence in one certain part of the map. We're going to be expecting a Viper in mid, most probably here. But of course, we can't keep... what do you call it? We can't keep overthinking what's going on. We're just going to wait for agent select to happen later on. But I think No Org specific player that we want to look out for here, Tap has been insane with the breach, with the initiator utility. And I think Josso as well on the Omen. He gets himself into these extremely unlikely places that gives him the off-angle advantage up against the enemy team. So we're going to see in a bit whether or not Bestial Esports is going to be ready for these kinds of supportive plays from No Org as well.
You know what, Josh? I'm going to be real with you. I wouldn't say Split is a very predictable map compared to Ascent, since they have the similar map structure, but you can't really play the same team comp on Ascent as you would on any other given map, right? So on Split, I feel like it's going to be very hard to predict what kind of team comps they're going to be putting out, but I'm going to try right now, right? I'm going to try. Let's see if I can get my predictions right now. So Bestial Esports on their previous game like to play very aggressively, so I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up that duelist comp, or possibly a double controller comp, right? So maybe Omen, Viper, maybe a Jet and a Raze to follow it up with. And oh my god, what do you know? I'm right as well. If you think about it, it makes sense, man. Double controller on both sides of the map. Just make sure that you have all the map coverage if you need all the information, or as well as the map structure, the map control that you also need. Omen always really good with the paranoia on the right places, just to set up both Meloj and Funky. But this is going to be a huge question mark for Bestial Esports, Scott, because this is the first time that we'll be seeing them here on the broadcast, and we kind of already have a benchmark for No Org. So what are we going to be expecting out of this?
I mean, of course, we've seen Kyle play very aggressively and very proactively as the Cypher on Sunset yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if he just pops off today on the Cypher, knowing that, of course, Split is one of the best maps to play Cypher here. But I think I'm going to be looking towards the two Skies on both sides of this map, knowing that Sky playing the solo initiator here, it's all going to depend on whether or not you're going to be able to make the most out of your utility, because ever since Sky was nerfed back in pre-kickoff, right, people had to get a little bit more creative. But seeing the double duelists on both sides, this is going to be scrappy rounds time and time again. I'm going to be expecting a lot of that.
Yep, so we're diving into the game right now. You can see that the timer is also commencing as we head on into the attacking side of Bestial Esports. The biggest question mark is if they can handle the pressure and is already being dealt with from that no-org squad. But if you look at the map right now, mid is where the heat map's going to be for the defensive side, but they're dodging away from that. They're going to be fighting up against the Cypher, where Kyle is sitting as comfortably as ever over that hovering position.
Get a scammer from Kyle. He's gonna get immediate information. I don't think he can. Yeah, of course, the barrier doesn't let you see past it, but having early information on a map like this, right, and the stalling power of a Cypher easily make it so that your team can come up on the back. And look at this. It's a 3-man flank coming in from no-org. From Bestial Esports, rather. Now they're gonna be going all the way in. Tomix, first one. And there's not gonna be any kind of presence. Trap's gonna be stopped though. It's gonna be a 5v5 retake. It's gonna be messy, Ramon, and I'm loving it.
Messy as hell. No Sentinel to hold the flank too. Little J! He almost had the 2-tap. That would have been the perfect kill on Image. But he very well adjusts. Kyle though, 1-for-1, but the smoke will dissipate. Image has to be careful. Doesn't expect 2 people on top of him. Just so wins out the fight. 4 versus 3. Heaven not in control of the attack. Funky is settling for the elbow position. Waiting for Kyle, but White Cat gets that first frag on through. 3v3. Defusing. Tries to tap Kyle and tap. Wins the fight itself. White Cat, the 1v3. The Razor Cat ears have to come up online, but Kyle will declaw the cat and get the first round on the board for no-org.
Retake was insane, if you could see. I think the number one problem that we saw in that round for Bestial Esports is the fact that they did not have presence over towards A main. Because once the retake went in full swing, they were all stuck inside of the site. Bestial Esports did not know what angles to look at because you had to worry about Heaven. You had to worry about Elbow. You had to worry about CT and main as well. There's just not enough weapons online, not enough players to watch all those angles. And now, we got all the money up. It's going to be a full force buy coming in for Bestial Esports as well.
I like the committal again from that triple flank as well. Just overwhelming the odds from the only man holding it, which was Image, who again had no presence on main. So they have a 4th position back on A. And the Cypher has been destroyed. Locked out of sight. Forced into the 4 versus 5 retake. And this is the team that didn't even buy anything except for this Bucky and all the stingers all up on their pockets.
Now, retake's gonna be coming in. It's gonna be a little hard knowing that Crazy MT is gonna be on this outlaw. Overcommitting to these angles. Tomix pushes out. Double face over onto Josso, and now the smoke's gonna be out to try and prevent them. Modier making his way over onto the side. 5 HP left for him as Bestial Esports is taking it down 1 by 1. A full crunch on them in the midst of this retake attempt, and now it's gonna be 1-1. They're baroque, good sir.
Nah, definitely not the best spot that you're looking forward to, because they could have actually played normally. Position yourself to try to equally put all your numbers onto both sides of the map, but they decide to put all their trust on Kyle, who was sitting comfortably, but a little too close for comfort because he never expected the Bucky buy out from the Raze as well. And Funky being able to open up the site just like that, just forcing that forward stack on again. It's making sure that Bucky and those Stingers actually do the best value that they can hope for. A quad stack again for the side of no-org on the other side of the map while you leave Kyle to take mid side really early on.
4 people on the site and Kyle moving all the way forward up through mid. Will he have the time this crossfire from Bestial Esports? Does convert. That's going to be the Cypher gone. Now, I think no-org should be expecting some attempt at mid. But they've been gaslighting themselves. Bestial Esports goes back towards main, where the crossfire is happening. It's a 4-man crossfire. Yes, they do have the pistols up, but when you have this many people trained on one single area of the map, things are gonna get messy. And now the paranoia coming out. Funky finds his way forward and Joshua takes him down. 1 weapon now down. Tomix stuck in a corner as they're gonna be falling 1 by 1. 3v3, suddenly the numbers are equal and they're running, hightailing it out, trying to find another way onto a site. The rotation is going to be coming in for both teams.
They also got a good amount of guns head up. Just already picked up the the Bulldog plus Crazy
30
MD could just
seconds left.
hightail it, push it with that Stinger online. They already got the site itself, so Bestial Esports have nothing but to think about where they want to position for the post plant. Here we go.
Spike
Sky planting. Already hold up on a main, possibly trying to rotate around from that heaven position, but
No
everybody
way.
else crawling back
What
on that
is
speed
this?
position. They're dodging away from each other's positioning. They leave White Cat alone on an island, possibly
open, they
take
don't
that
know.
heaven control. But even if they get sight, they have to think about that heaven push. Once they tap the spike, they're gonna make all the moist possible.
Boy.
Nightcat 1, possibly a
White
second.
Cat.
1v3, Spectre
One
not enough.
enemy
Crazy
remaining.
MD deals damage through in a 1v1, but it's against Image on top of heaven. He hasn't half the spike at all. Tap towards it, but doesn't matter because once the smoke
Oh my.
dissipates, Image
Timing.
will have the perfect shot with that outlaw. No time at all. 2-1 for Bestial Esports.
I don't know, man. That play right there, as soon as they got the spike down, they backed over towards main. And suddenly, who would have thought? Right? If I was playing on no org there, this would be so hard to read because they walked in, right? Zero presence, no guns, no people, no utility, nothing. And you'd be scrambling to try and find out where is this post plant coming from. Suddenly, bullets rain down from the heavens and they're gone. It's 1-2 now. But this should be a good start for them.
Something that they're hoping for as they commence back onto their attacking round. But this defense, a little bit of switch up. Now they put their active players over at the A site. Heaven being controlled by the Rays. Solo anchoring is Crazy MD. Coupled up with the Sky over at that elbow position. Another fight on through. White Cat spotted. But because of the cloudburst, they can't commit towards the angle. So they rotate back around that A lobby position, giving an opportunity to either pressure on A while they put all their numbers over to the other side of the map.
I'll be calling a pause into this round. Zero presence over on mid. You know that's in split mid is very important. But this is where the Cypher comes in, right? Trap wire over in mid. Make sure that nobody can get over there for free. Now a lot of utility being committed over.
I've got your trail.
They have brought out the Seekers now. Lot of utility. Thrown out here in the spy cam. Finds Thomas before he can find his way onto the side. Josso forced out of his position as well. For some reason, right, they're running out of time, running out of space. Kael takes down two. Bestial Esports are falling one by one, and Kael continues on his madness right now. And Bestial Esports down to only Funky, struggling to find any kind of angle, any kind of space where he's still safe. The Crazy MD will finalize that round. It is 2-2.
It's crazy to think that they're able to try to bounce back through because of a thwarted attempt at trying to defend that A position, right? And even though the players on the side of Bestial Esports had a really good decision to actually split up that B site, it was nothing. It was for nothing at all because of a strong position and a defensive setup by Kael. Early trap wire commenced as well, just to bid up more than they could chew. 2-2, an equal standing for both teams heading on into this next round, but they're fighting off an active push from the side of Bestial Esports. Crazy MD gets one blinded because of the Sky. Tap is doing a lot of work together with the Jet. A 3 versus 5, and they push on. Keep spraying.
Oh,
And
Crazy MD
is putting his name on the kill feed. A quad kill from the Jet on the side of No Org.
Yeah, true to his name, Crazy MD is going insane. And right now, Bestial Esports, despite having found that thrifty round, they're suddenly on the back foot. Sheriffs all around for this team as they wait out to get that shield. Try and get a little bit more economy in their direction if they can swing it that way. Luckily for them, there's only one person popping off on the side of No Org. Melodia is not exactly activated at the moment, but I have no doubts, right? At some point, it has to be more than one person.
You're gonna play for the long game. You know, Melo J right here is playing for the late game. It's not a MOBA by any means. but he's playing in a way that he's building up all this sort of economy, all this confidence, and he's gonna be pushing it forward. You see the active players on Bestial Esports now taking
There's
that
no way,
mid
right?
control, already destroying the trip wire, and even taking a 50-50 decision, waiting for Image to make the first call, wait for him to destroy, neutralize.
There's no way.
He's looking towards his
The
direction.
timing.
And as he puts up the
Oh!
smoke, but Mellow J, oh my goodness, it could have been any other given way, but he actually deals
Spike
damage
down
too.
mid.
Second frag out for Mellow J as well.
Somehow, though, Visual Esports find their way over onto Heaven. The Comet is going to be able to be found by Joxo, rather. And they're running out of space. The solo paranoia is being thrown out. All kinds of utility. You can hear it all across the map. Whitecat turns away at the worst possible second. And they find him inside of the smoke. Whitecat, last man standing. Spam through, perforated by bullets.
Definitely not in the best state of economy in that round whatsoever. So they can take any pick that they can get. Had an attempt, especially with the Image pushing in a little bit slow to his demise. Well, Mellow J we already talked about this guy from the previous round, but now it's in a different light. Now he's getting a few kills. And sometimes 1 or 2 kills can build a person's confidence back up. That eco rounder for the other side, for Bestial Esports, was the best chance for Mellow J to capitalize and possibly build on something right now. 4-2, they push on slowly on B main. Only thing that they have to hope for is that the Cypher is not built up on here, but the setup's already clear. And Kyle, always a bastion of defense.
There's no spy cam. A little bit of information collected here. He sees 3, he sees 4. No rotation is going to be seen inside. He's going to have to back off right now. Trap wire is still there, though. They weren't able to disrupt this setup. Because of that, it's taken them so long. IMH turns the wrong way as well. The middle of the site, the middle of the map is slowly being taken up by No Org. It's going to be depending on the time. Tap. Sees the shoulder off of Whitecat. Couple of kills now going the way of Bestial Esports. Tomix popping off here as he try and take up this space little by little. Getting go, turning away, Funky, turns around again, Melody falls here. Now it's gonna be a down to a 1v4 as Kyle is gone as well. Timing, all the confusion brought out by the presence of BCL Esports all throughout the map, and now it's Josso left alone, taken down by Machiavelli. 4-3 it is. We are catching up. We're seeing these teams trade blows more often than not.
Yeah, and it's because of decisions made in that mid round, right? You can see that while Kyle was playing the passive game on that D site, Crazy MD and Tap have been making efforts to take forward spaces on mid, which does result in 50-50 gunfights for them. They have the confidence to try to see if they can get forward positions, right? But the fact is, it's always a 50-50 if you're playing around that no info. Because they're not making presence all across the map, they're forced to make decisions for themselves, but it's always not panning in the right spots. Crazy MD already at the other side of the wall, but they're not even noting Image on the other side. Yes, Mellow J already finds himself the Viper. But that doesn't always mean that the A side is the perfect call. Kyle has the info, has the communication. Spam's coming through from the smoke as well. Tomix slowly crawling up, and Kyle has confirmed their presence. They got themselves B, and they can plant in a matter of seconds because of that.
Molly finds one onto Punky, and Kyle following up here. 2v4 with a spike yet to go down. It's gonna be real hard here. The neural theft being brought out as well, revealing the positions of these players from BCL Esports. Gonna be assailed by a lot of utility here. Even with the From the Shadows used, there's not much you can do here. Knows exactly where Whitecat is. Gonna be the last man standing. He finds Kyle. They hear sound cues coming in from these players. Crazy MD playing it on the long range angle, but they're able to take him down one by one. Somehow, some way, they weather the storm, and here BCL Esports move on forward. They tie things up.
Please give me a POV of Whitecat spray transfer there, because that was Chef's kiss. Goes from the ground all the way to the heavens to secure himself 3 kills in a matter of seconds. This guy has possibly a sleeper, because all the noise has been made all the way from Image and Tomix making their moves all across the map, but Whitecat has been on form. Whitecat has been performing all throughout the rounds, giving enough time for them to try to actually defend the spike in a 2 versus 4. And 4-4 now for both sides of the map. You can see that they're also holding waiting patiently for the push shot from the active players on the side of No Org. But they're also very cautious of what they can afford. White got already investing that Trailblazer just to see who's in the forward position, but you're not giving anything. So an info starve.
I've
already
got
given
your
up.
trail.
Seeker is going to be brought out though. Information, the flash perfect here as Funky takes on Crazy MD. One person gone. And information granted here by the Paint Shells. A little bit of a misplay. Tap is gone as well. No escape in a matter of seconds again. Somehow.
Spike
I don't know what's
planted.
going on, man. Bestial Esports. They've been absolutely disgusting here in these set takes. Now they know where Josso is. It's going to be a 2v5. Retake's going to be so difficult. I mean, if I were them, I'd be saving. But
Last
this
player
3-stack
standing.
over towards screen, they only see Kyle. He's going to be noted, but Josso is not going to be expected here. For the 5, Bestial Esports steal away the win.
And again, a coordinated push shot just to take that A site. You know, this is what I love about tier 2 teams and teams that are budding with a lot of aspirations in life, right? I love that they're also so proactive with using their timeouts, because then they recognize like a flaw in how they have been using their process. They recognize the flaw and they want to weed it out very early on. So a timeout called again for the side of No Org. You can see the pings on the map as well. They're pinching that heaven position, thinking that Kyle could be playing, or at least thinking that Kyle should be playing that heaven position, since that was what's been working for them in the past couple of rounds. But the proactivity, yet again, and the amount of movement that this team, the team composition that Special Esports have in their arsenal as well, has been doing a really good job of confusing where the setup should be, where the setup should be recognized. There's a lot of ways that this double duelist comp could actually approach this. You could try to pressure and find Kyle, but they don't really need to commit to Kyle's setup, because sometimes that could be a very good way of dismantling, derailing a very aggressive push. But on the other side of the map, you could also use that as pressure.
I mean, one of the biggest flaws right now for BCL Esports is the fact that they don't have a Sentinel. We've seen it time and time again, right? We've seen Sadak proven wrong that if you don't have a Sentinel on your team, it's more likely than not seals your defeat. But at least for now, they are going to be leading here 5-4, but there's so little space between these two teams. They need to start stacking up these rounds. And knowing that the Bleedstorm is slowly being brought on forward, IMH sees the shoulder, finds Crazy MD. And Lodi makes himself known, spraying down over onto IMH. The trade has been made. It has been secured. And now, this is being brought out. Josso, not expected inside of the smoke. Gets away with murder and teleports out of the way. And the second to follow up as well.
The second time in a row that the snow has been coming up online. And now it falls on Machiavelli, but 1 HP is not enough for you, son. Tap only needed 1 bullet and he got it. My goodness, this Omen is popping off on the split map. Just so you never expect the same guy to peek in the same smoke time and time again, but he does so in style, and he played passively on the 3rd kill to surprise whoever is pushing that nail position. A beautiful play for somebody as complex-minded as Jasso can be. No Org equalizing against Special Esports. This is toe-to-toe now.
All on the back of a timeout as well. Ramon, who would have thought, right? You didn't even get to see their strat at that point, so whatever they thought of in the timeout would definitely have been converted here for this next round. Now, Guiding Light being brought out, and the Seekers to try and slow down this push coming from BCL Esports. They do take down the Bees, and a Showstopper being brought out. Melodier taking down to a 3rd, and Crazy Emily to clean it up somehow. Man, they've been drenched in blood right now. It's
Last
6-5, right after the timeout.
Never forget your timeouts, ladies and gentlemen, because sometimes the payoff just pays well, especially now that you can see they're leading up 1 point. Yes, it is 1 point, but the fact that their confidence is on a high right now is a good sign for what their second half looks like. Again, leaving Kyle and Tap to fend off for themselves on a forward position yet again for the mid side. But again, the heat map is looking as scrumptious again for the attack. You can see that Funky very much forward over at that Rams position, looking like he could destroy all the tripwires with one nade, and he does so. 5 versus 5 yet again. The defense is looking proactive. Crazy MD pushing into the bullets of Tomix. That is a beautiful shot from the Jet. And Bestial Esports could very well take A site as fast as possible, but they're stuck. Leaving just so. That is definitely not the best case for them. 4 versus 4 and tap pushing, fighting with everything that he has, but White Cat will be the better Sky in this round. They push on A site.
What is
Kyle
this?
peeks and he dies. White Cat is on a roll, and Mellow J
Last
trying to
player
bend out for
standing.
himself, but Tomic says, no, I got you.
Spike planted.
Josso now gonna be the last man standing. This could be noted. 2 people on this angle in comics, doubling down on the other side. 6 to 6, we're all tied up, and like we said, Ramon, you can
Switching
never
sides.
tell how split is gonna go.
Always,
Okay,
man.
we know the drill.
Always.
your
A very
roles and
good
we'll
team
crush it.
has once told me that we got split. We got this map, man. Because sometimes this map can play in very sorts of ways, right? We expected mid control, and we got right around 40% of mid control, because it's always been a bloodbath for all the extremities across the map, right? It's never a clean fight whatsoever, but maybe it could be a different story now that we have swapped sides. And normally the attack of No Org has been very reliant on good setups for Mellow J. So if they're able to set it up, then we could possibly see a really good start for No Org now.
That's 3 people pushing up mid. I think they've been noted, Melodier. A little bit of a dink and some damage over onto the other player here, but Funky's gonna be found. There are reinforcements though. Not gonna be letting go of this crossfire. See, patience now being brought out because it's gonna be necessary here for them to actually win this round. You know that everything swings over on this pistol. Comics finds tap in a small gap in the smoke. Suddenly we are looking at all things equal. 4v4. No flashes for No Org, so it's gonna depend on where they choose to go.
Here.
You do still have a beautiful crossfire. They know Trailblaze is being brought out. The Stomachs take down Josso, but kill coming in from Melodier. It's
No
still
way.
equal.
Because now they also have the crossover yet again from the Cypher, giving the B side for free. They had the option of going through that beam in extremity after the first shot through, but no, Mellow J is just holding, just waiting for the perfect moment to
Last
strike.
player
Image
standing.
does get caught off guard, never expecting the
planted.
raise. And Kyle, right place, right time. The rat inside of B has made his presence known. And Mellow J says hello, thank you for the pistol round. A 7-6 in the way of No Org. And what a way to do it too.
Yeah, this map is looking wild. We're seeing upsets upon upsets. Some of these tiny timings, right? Some small errors in timing from BCL Esports have been kind of the best way for No Org to make sure that they can't really find the best strategy in terms of this. Because, like, BCL Esports, they're up against the full experience of this No Org roster.
Man, he has to run for the hills. He doesn't have a gun. He doesn't have anything. And then his utility.
Wait.
He has to go back off towards the heaven position. A triple flank possibly in a mix. A
No
quad
way.
flank possibly. The Jet Tomix is forward positioning over at T-spawn. And Funky might be there with them, but he decides to be the front line anyway. Kyle has to be careful about how many
Timing.
people he's coming up against, but he hasn't checked this angle. Does spot out one, a second in the mix, but that's more than enough for him. He could pick up the Bulldog, their best weaponry, as they hold on
Okay.
into that P site. Jasso, a second. This could possibly be something that they're looking towards. Funky with another shot. 2 players inside of the
Last
main,
enemy
waiting
remaining.
for the 1, 2, 3, and it is an 8-round win coming to No Org. Beautifully done, but again, it wasn't clean.
We got this.
Wow. Now though, they're gonna have to make sure that they can't convert off of this round. Couple of upgrades actually coming in from No Org, so they might not be. This might not be the easiest bonus round that BCL Esports is looking for. I mean, at the moment, see a couple of judges as well from Melodier. Now he actually changed his mind here. We're changing up the distance of the fights for here, and we've seen it earlier. Everyone really fully committed on the rifles, but I don't think we're going to be expecting these kinds of plays. Funky opens it up over onto Melodier. Caught with his pants down as he brings out the boom buff, but now the paranoia is going to be here. Josso What in the world? Takes a Machiavelli. Now the trade's coming in. White Claw left standing now. 3v2 as they try to eliminate these players one by one. Attempt at a plant fake to try and bring out some kind of reaction from BCL Esports as actually back off. What is this? Look at the map. KL is all the way in A, and the full rotation has been brought out. But the question is here, with 1 minute still left on the clock, and the fact that BCL Esports, they smell what's coming, and they can hear the footsteps from Taf.
They're chasing him.
They're trying to, but he's made his way forward. They now know that all of Kyle's utility is still going to be here. And suddenly, what could have been easily converted by no org, it's suddenly going to be a lot harder.
Yeah, not 2 versus 2 now. They already know that there's 2 coming from the flank. And Tap sees one over Flower Box. Perfect stop from Kyle. 1v1. Vandal versus Sheriff. Will the longer gun win in the long run? He is low on HP. Needs that one shot from the barrel, but Image hasn't given the info back up. It's not planted for Kyle at all as well. He could have stick it, but Kyle, he's pressured. He drops from heaven. Perfect timing from Image. A triple, a clutch from Bestial Esports' Viper. The full committal on flanking all the way from the B site. Just to surprise Kyle, just to surprise, steal it away. And to get that 7th round. What a decision made for both of these teams.
And it's wild. You saw a full bloodbath on B. And I don't think anyone noticed, right? Kyle made his way all the way over towards A site. But again, when things get scrappy, you never know what happens. And this is what Split is made of. This is the APAC map where everyone will throw everything over into the mix somehow, some way. Right, they do so much damage though. In both teams, this is going to be the swing round for them. Whoever wins this, they're going to be on the economic advantage, at least for the next few rounds. We're seeing so much more patience though.
Early poison orb committed onto the mid side. That means he can't use it on anywhere else other than that mid bottom position, right? Giving the space to rotate all the way towards A, where Kyle is calling to his teammates that A site might be the better call. Better, because Bestial Esports all relying on their active players, Tomix and White Cat. I predict that they can't hold this alone, but that will come down to the gunfights now. Trailblazer spotted, noted now. There's one at least, but not expecting Tomix on the close angle, pushing in towards heaven. Crazy MD trying to clear every angle, but the smoke is helping out Tomix. With the one for nothing, it's White Cat trying to equalize, but Kyle is at the right place to take that 4 versus 3 now.
Planted.
Funky's gone now. It's going to be a 2v4. The paranoia being used up. Very little utility here. They're all gonna have to depend on the gunfights, and look at Kyle doubling down on this long push coming in from ramps. Takes down Kyle.
Last player standing.
Now, in a 1v3, not much could be done. 9-7, they've stolen away the lead, and no org.
Gun here.
They're making this presence known. They are making sure that they can extend this lead even further.
Ah, man. And it's looking so prominent that they're gonna be able to take this attacking half, right? But very well and behold, you already saw the potential being held up by how they're able to switch things up on the fly. It was the initial ramen hold from where they have positioned themselves on attack, and it only took a snap of a finger to decide on taking that A-side push. Now, you can see the same as well now with the Sheriff boys.
Oh my, what?
Funky was insane! One shot to down with Mellow J, and it was in midair.
A little bit of a misplay for Melody there. Granted a kill, a little bit of orbs coming in for the side of BCL Esports, and now things should be a little bit easier. But I like this. No orb wants to deny them this extra weapon that could have been picked up. Waiting for a rotation from the enemy team. No org doubling down. Slowly making their way up. They do hear a little bit of information granted for no org. You know where he is. But I think should be pulling in a rotation. Manpower now found. Crazy MD finds him right through the screen. It's gonna be a 3v1 over on this side. Funky left standing with White Crack Whitecat comes out of nowhere, takes down 2, dwindles the numbers, and now suddenly
Last
they have
player
the lead.
standing.
Funky as well,
Spike
all
down
on the
A.
Sheriff. It's
One
all
enemy
off the
remaining.
Kyle, now in a 1v1. Spike now gonna be in no man's land, and
30
the
seconds
showstopper
left.
brought out, trying to activate what could be done, trying to find a way to convert this round into paint shells as well. Here, the full upgrade. Funky has the chance to do the funniest thing ever. Might bring out the Thrifty here. And a boom bot found Kyle. 13 seconds on the clock. Tries to take that fight, and the Thrifty round is secured. All on the back of Funky and Whitecat. This is insanity, Ramon.
Sheriffs have held their ground inside A, and a perfect peek out as well from Whitecat, just making the difference with those 2 Sheriff shots. And Funky just laying the law on using that Sheriff as well to full investment, converting through with a Vandal buy. Even though Kyle have made heroics, it was not enough. Funky has done his homework now, and now he is going to be that bastion of hope for the side of Bestial Esports. A full buy round for the defense. They got the Viper split set up on mid. An overcommittal as well on that side of the map, because you see that everybody on the attack have already rotated back onto the A side. Tommy taking advantage. Mellow J never cleared the left
Spike
side
planted.
of screens. It's an early 4 versus 5, and where you know it, they already got themselves the ramp position. Pushes out, gets again. Kyle and Jasol makes another call to hold that A main side.
Player
2 versus
standing.
4, leaving it all to Machiavelli, but Kyle will seal their fate with a triple and the 10th round scoreline.
That was an overcommittal to the max. You saw the retake. I don't think they even thought about the utility that they would use. That was definitely not a set play, Ramon. And you could see the mistakes being made one after the other, despite the fact that they had the information from the Seekers. Comms might have broken down. Something was in that water right now that BCL Esports have been drinking, and it's affecting me in the worst possible way.
Oh no. And you don't like that, right? That dirty water that you sometimes never expected to be dirty, and then you try to drink from it, you get a little tingle by the end of it. you don't like that,
You're wondering, what did I eat? What's going on?
right? Was it the water? What is it? Was it the?
I'm out of stuff.
What was it? The coffee that I drank? Was it a pastry that I took? What is it? You know, sometimes you never really realize that it's the one thing that is trying to be healthy. But you know, spot this out, right? Crazy MD. Carefully
No
trying
way.
to peek on, but the flash, Crazy MD. When he tries to be careful, but the Sky deciding to go back into the site. 30 HP for the Sky. Everybody rotating on A. They have to be careful about pushing in, because now they set up the defenses and they're pulling back in yet again. The mid-ground calling is working out so well for this team.
Yeah, they're hightailing it over towards the other side of the map, and you can actually see it. Melodier has an idea there might be someone over in mid. Reaction though, Funky making his way over towards B already. Deadly silence now all across the map, and it's the
30
perfect way to
seconds
do it, right? Funky playing over on side, and now walking all the way in. Melodier finds Funky unaware of what's gonna be going on. They're falling again, and now the strongest weapons for this team are gone.
No, not the best position that you have been hoping for. Atomics
There.
has
Kyle?
to move in
One
toward the
enemy
site
remaining.
itself, but Kyle had a dagger in his hands and backstabs him into that deadly good night. Machiavelli, good shot from the Sheriff, but that's all nothing but potential. 18-2 or 11-8 actually.
Stay keen.
My goodness, they're
Better not to be
one
good.
step closer to gaining that match point. A timeout called. And look at the conversion, right? Every time that they take a timeout, they sometimes get a conversion win. But at this point, very deep into the game, you already see the amount of momentum, confidence that everyone from No Org have been injected with.
You can really feel it in the air, man. They have been waiting to get this win because they fell at the last possible stage yesterday. And now they're looking to try and take that victory this time around. So they have to bring out everything they can. BCL Esports having been beaten down after quite a few breakdowns in communication. I don't know what's happening in this timeout. Is it a strat thing? Are they trying to reset? Or whatever have you at this point in time? Because you can see that the retakes are not happening. And the lack of map control, right? We saw that once the mid-round call has come in for no org, BCL Esports start to struggle.
Yeah, it's almost like they haven't been recognizing the perfect time to either rotate or to fend off one side of the map. You already saw that Funky on a Bucky decided to be one of the first people to rotate around, which is a good call. But when it started to happen for the rotate to come through, that B set was looking wide open where he should have been on B main with that Bucky. Could have been a perfect weapon for the job. But now we go back to the game. It's an active push for Funky and Whitecat. Primed up with the flash, gets in with that first. Funky and Whitecat, the duo are making it work.
Down, B.
Tap Tap and Crazy MD falling down like flies. And B main looking like a fortress from the defensive side. Oh, that timeout is looking so deadly, man. They already converted off of it.
Back and forth we go. Now the spike in no man's land again. They've been denied the space. All on the back of that one singular smoke. And you could see it, right? The smoke was up. You had the guiding light. You had the paranoia come in from the other side. And it just turned into a full massacre. But now they're going to try and approach the side from another side. Funky, good for the third with the immediate trade. 2v3. They still don't have the spike, though. Ramon, they're going to have to do 100% +1 to be able to find this round. And Lodier, showstopper out, does not even get the time to pull it out. Whitecat denies him even the voice line. And Alkael, last man standing here with the Trailblazer being brought out, trying to find the information. They know that the spike is going to be in his hands. The 1v3 double high-low setup, and Whitecat gets another kill. 9-11.
Oh, I can feel the pain in his eyes. I can feel the pain after he attempts to use a showstopper to open up the site. But man, oh man, Whitecat and his reaction timing. But you gotta give a lot of props to the defense too, because Funky has been holding that B main really well off of the supportive utility from Whitecat, man. Beautifully done.
A huge percentage of first duel wins for this guy.
I know, right? We gotta take a look at how many first bloods this guy has, right? Man, oh man. 11-9.
Oh, they know.
He got the early active push out yet again. Funky, despite his dual flash, he still holds that B main like he owns it. 4 versus 5. That mid-side looking scrumptious as ever.
Ow.
But Mellow J, that paint shell was on the money. A 4 versus 4. Both controllers dealt with, but the Omen and the Viper, well, actually just the Omen still alive for the defense. As if they're just holding their own possible map control, but waiting on Kyle to make that first contact yet again. There's not a tripwire, there's not any point of info. If you could just rush onto the A site without making noise, then this is an easy site take for the attack.
The timing. Tomix turns back in the last possible second. It's going to be denied that info that Kyle actually walked up towards ramp. And if he walks out here, that's 3 people looking him down, turns away. Here with the tailwind now going to be activated as he's trying to wait for someone to push out forward through elbow, but there's just way too many guns trained on this angle. Trailblazer being brought out to try and find the information. Cloudburst as well to deny the site. Then the retake should be coming in. Find info, another showstopper being brought out. Funky, Machiavelli, and Whitecat 1 each here to clean things up. Akael left standing. He does not have the angle. He has no choice but to save at this point. What do you do when it's all happening in front of your face? Nothing. You're a cipher, good sir.
Yeah, I know, right, man? It's just so hard when you rely on the one man to try to do it all. But then the spike was planted, yes, openly, but it's not at the open spot that you want it to be. Over at the other end of that A site, where you relied on trying to take the 1v4, yes, but taking the forward positions while you got the raised showstopper activated was just not the right call. Possibly something that they have been working out with, but man, oh man, that retake was just impeccable for the defensive side of Bestial Esports. You go back to the default of taking mid and that B site for free. An early flash. Image has to be careful. Push shot and Crazy MD. Well, caught with his pants down. Early 4 versus 5, and well, full control over B Heaven. Try to still crawl up, but that operator looking as primed as ever.
So much info from this Trailblazer too. You know exactly where the last 3 members of No Order are. They're gonna be running away. Getting away with murder here, Tomix. All these players, man. I don't know what's going on.
Oh man. Early peaks, possibly. Tomix.
Uh-oh.
Well, first shot didn't
Well.
climb up the dash, so has to give up his life. That's an early from the shadows. And that
No
elbow
shot, right?
position
Paranoia?
could possibly be his beacon of hope. Machiavelli does get the paranoia, but the shot's not landing.
What?
Tap! The savior and possibly the hero. The 1v1. White Cat, his cat ears are not enough. He has to hit the phantom shots as he peeks in, and he does save it for Bestial Esports. He sinks his teeth in, his fangs ringing on towards the site. And an 11-11 Bestial Esports relied upon by White Cat and delivering it with.
What an insane play that was. Throws out the guiding light, leaves it to move the other way, and because of that, Tap was looking in the other direction. And with perfect timing, this micro play by White Cat, absolutely insane. And you can see that this guy is popping off 20 kills for his team. On the other side, we have Kyle also firing on all cylinders. And you got everything in this one map alone.
I mean, one taps. We got mid rotations after they take 2 down. You also got full over commits on rotates. I mean, yep. Definitely a banger of a split map, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. Now we're standing at 11-11. Whoever wins this, the economy is going to be in their favor, and they're going to be standing at map point. In fact, if BCL Esports wins this, No Org's going to be broke. They have no choice. No Org has to convert this round. Otherwise, well, they're going to be denied the victory for the second day in a row. And that's going to be terrible for the mental, man.
So you're telling me the next time that they're going on a qualifier and they reach the semis, whoever finds out that they're facing up against No Org, they're going to be happy to do that?
No shots.
It's not looking good, man. It's not looking good, but we got to put all the trust in because Tap, yes, bottom of the scoreboard, but you saw those shots earlier. Maybe you can pull it out time and time again, primed up with the Seekers, and that's a good tool on the A side because look at how many people are on A. 3 people, 3 Seekers.
Yeah, 1 cabbage each if you ask for it, but as soon as they get this information, they should be moving away. 3 Seekers now going to be activated as we find the Cyber Kid being brought out. They're going to try and slow things down. So much Yuto being thrown out in their direction. And Funky finds him through that wall. Kyle is gone. And Tomix, White Cat, everyone's here. The gang's all here, good sir. It's going to be another 2v2.
I got the spike.
Spike down as well. But it's taking them so long. There's so much delay. You see Machiavelli making his way forward. We're trying to find out what's the best setup here. Where can you go? What can you do? Spike's finally gonna go down though.
Got the crawl up as well from the Viper. He has to be careful now because he doesn't know where they're coming from. Paranoia. And now with the TP, doesn't know that he's there, but Crazy MG, fully aware, 1v1, Image, right plays, possibly the wrong way! But Image! The perfect flag from the perfect guy on the server, Bestial Esports, besting the odds, getting match point at the clutches of situations. Image stands tall among others.
The worst possible time for this to happen, man. No Org again. It's the same thing. It's 11-12. They're so close, and they've been brought all the way to overtime if they can do it. But they're broke. Bulldog, a shorty, what can you do? It's a patchwork by Ramon. No Org facing down the precipice, facing the abyss right now, and the abyss stares back. Bestial Esports can feel it. They can smell the victory in the air. And because of that, No Org's gonna throw everything out. Paranoia now. Tomix gonna be denied the angle, but White Cat is there as backup. Commits on to that shot, finds a kill. Seekers now being brought out. Everything is hitting the fan. The spike is down. It's a 1v5. Jasso, what do you do? The last man standing. No utility to be spoken of. And they're running it down. BCL Esports, they can feel it. They can smell it in the air, but Jasso denies them. A little more time, and suddenly the Viper's spit, it dissipates over in mid. Knows that the operator should be in one angle. It's still a 1v3. They're breathing down his neck. Everything
No.
hangs in the balance on this man with only 7 HP.
No from the shadows either. So he can't pick up that spike. He has to fight this up. He has to fight both of them on the same angle, and he peeks, he dies!
Defenders
Tomix
win.
lays the final exclamation mark and punches their ticket to the next stage of the Kings of PH. Welcome to Bestial Esports. My goodness, this was a banger of a map. Both teams putting all the stops in how they're performing this map, but in the end, my goodness, no org. We're not able to go through the final hurdle, and Bestial Esports just proving that they can contend and definitely are worth getting their spot in, man. What a map split.
Another heartbreaking loss for No Org. And wow, you look at the timeline, right? Bestial Esports in the second half, in order to catch up and to get the win, they won 5 rounds in a row. Every single one of those rounds was pivotal to their success because they just had to make sure that No Org could not get any momentum. And there was just so many of these hero plays. Machiavelli, Funky as well. Look at this round right here. This round in particular got 1, 2, and 3. Everything was set up for him, and they just come out with a round win here.
I think it's also important to talk about the amount of times that Funky and White Cat, the duo, has been saving everyone from the first bloods, from the amount of times that they have retaken the site, even though there was a lot of opportunities, especially with Kyle. He has been lurking all across the map, and he has been doing well as well, top of the leaderboard. But in the end, it always falls back on how they perform at the very last hurdle. And when Tomix picked up that op shot from that ramps position, it was all but over, man. What a map, what a performance. And you could also give a lot of props to No Org, because they very well showed how much they've improved from the last round. Because yesterday, they haven't been looking their best self because they were at the brink of making that comeback happen on Sunset. Now it's been looking a little bit more decisive, just a little bit more polishing across the way, especially when they're performing on the attack, because that's when they kind of choked at that point. And if they're able to conquer that, then I very well see this team try to at least get a spot in and possibly even getting it over at the Kings of PH, man.
Yep, second attempt now denied for No Org, unfortunately. But these guys, they put a really good fight. They're going to have to pull out everything. Of course, they're going to be expecting them in that next qualifier round, but how do you fall down at the last spot, right? This finish line is inside, you're 2 rounds away, and you trip up. It's absolutely insane. So now, looking back at our current bracket, AIM-PH falling to Nursing Peak, who have found their way into playoffs, and of course, Bestial Esports besting No Org, who have fallen for the second time, making their way into the playoffs as well.
Yeah, at least we'll see both of these teams perform on the next stage. And I have my eyes on Nursing Peak right now because I feel like this team has a lot of untapped potential, especially when the game goes longer than possibly like 30 minutes, man, which is the average time for a Valorant game. So if they're going to be able to polish through, especially on how they perform on their first halves, then they could possibly not even need mental fortitude. They just need to outgun every single opponent. So my eyes on them, and my kudos as well to Bestial Esports. Congratulations to both of these teams. In this day, they have already solidified 4 spots for the next stage of the Kings of PH. But the qualifying stage is not done yet, because next week we have more coming out for the Kings of PH bracket. Of course, this is all gonna be live next weekend on the same social media platforms that you see here. So if you're watching us on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, we'd like to give our thanks to all the viewers out there for watching us from start to finish. Of course, my name is Ramon. With me is Josuabe. We have been casting all throughout the weekend for Kings of PH. We'll see you next week for more games and more teams coming out. And thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
They think they can kill me.
One enemy
My
remaining.
ultimate is ready.
One enemy remaining. Spike down.
Killed their omen. My ult's ready.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Wait a moment. Found you. My eyes are better than yours. My ultimate
Spike
is ready.
down B. One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left.
Party's on.
One enemy remaining. Long. Spike down mid. Last player standing. Flawless. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
I'm out of stuff.
Planted. Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
Down.
Last player standing. Last player standing.
The sky.
Defenders win.
With the Predator Helios 3D15 Spatial Labs Edition.
The 13th gen Intel Core i9 HX processor, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 GPU, and our custom-engineered Aeroblade cooling, alongside liquid metal over the CPU.
Delivering intuitive interaction and immersive sensation through technologies like advanced sensory solutions, optical display, and the latest real-time rendering technologies.
With the Helios Neo 16. 13th gen Intel Core processor? Check. GeForce RTX 40 series graphics? Of course. As for cooling, the Helios Neo includes Predator's custom-engineered cooling solutions listed here, with our unique Aeroblade fans and liquid metal thermal grease. Predator Triton 17X laptop. This powerhouse features a GeForce RTX 4090 with a max TGP of 175 watts, the Acer Nitro XC452 CUV at 44.5 inches with a 32:9 ultra-wide aspect ratio and 1500R curvature. Predator Orion X. The Intel Core i9 13900KS Special Edition processor boasts 24 cores, a flagship NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090. It is the smallest PC that features this GPU. Upgrade your gaming experience with the Predator Orion X.